Welcome back to Your World of Rock. I'm Scott Muni. Before we took a break, I was telling you about a talk I got to have with Paul McCartney shortly after the press conference and little mini concert that he did. So here's that conversation as promised. It's been a dozen years since Paul McCartney got up there on the boards live on a tour. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. Doesn't feel like that long to me because I kind of make records and I do bits and pieces. I go on Live Aid and do Prince's Trust and The Odd Thing. So it kind of feels like I'm working all the time. But it is. I think it's 13 years since I've actually had a band on the stage.
That's a fun thing, too, because you're working with some new people. But, well, first of all, let's talk about, okay, you're going to have new people. Who are those people in your band?
Well, basically, we got Hamish Stewart, who plays guitar and bass and sings. And Hamish used to be the singer in the Average White Band. So I knew him from then, you know, and I've known his work from then. He was kind of available, you know, he wasn't doing much. He was writing, but he wasn't working with anyone. So we got him to come round and sang a bit, and he harmonised nicely with stuff I did. Played real good guitar, kind of very soul-y. And then when I wanted to play guitar, he could just hop onto the bass. So I thought, well, that fits very well, you know, it fits for what I want. And he's got a lovely voice, too, you know, got real nice, he's a soul singer, really. So, so he joined. And then, wondering about keyboards and stuff, I suggested to Linda that it wouldn't be a good idea for her to take the whole responsibility as she did in '76 on the tour. I thought it might be better, because as I say, things are more complicated these days, you know, synthesizer banks of them and computers and all of that. So she was happy with that idea of kind of being like a second keyboard to somebody who was into all that, you know, computer physics and all that stuff. So we have a guy called Wicks who does a lot of sessions in London, who's very respected around London. And he's really good, you know, I like pianists who can kind of do the jazz stuff, the New Orleans stuff, the old-fashioned Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis kind of bluesy stuff. But also guys who know how to work a synth, because there's so much of that these days that you can get real good noises out of. So he was a guy who could play both of them. So we have him, Wicks, and we have Wicks and Linda on keyboards. And then on guitar, I was looking around for someone very accomplished who kind of excited me, really, because I'm spoiled. I've been around with people like Jimi Hendrix, you know, and you know when you're actually sitting in the room with Jimmy with his amp wound up. I mean, I think I saw his first show, probably his first show ever, which is in a club in London. And we were just sitting there drinking, you know, just, oh, here's the band, you know, half noticing them, thought, you know, another average band. But he turns this Marshall amp, cranks it up, starts on, you know, go, holy, what's then everyone's heads turn, and I looked at this guy, you know, and he hadn't even got his hair really sort of big then, you know, it's just before. Man, we just couldn't believe it, man. Well, the next gig he played, they were all there. There was like me, Townsend, Clapton, like a homage, you know, to the great man. So, like I say, you know, after knowing Jimmy and knowing how great he was, I'm a bit spoiled with guitar players. So I waited till I found someone I thought was really good. And I always admired Robbie. And another good thing about Robbie McIntosh, that is, who used to play with the Pretenders, another good thing about him was that he was a big Beatles fan. So he knows all the tunes. So I was kind of saying to him, what's the chords of that one, you know? And so he learned all the solos just for himself anyway, just for fun when he was a kid, you know. So he's great. And then on drums, we have a guy called Chris Whitten, who's a bit younger than the rest of us old guys. And I ran into him while we were doing some jams in London. On Friday nights, I started having these jams because I was recording a lot. I was a bit fed up of not singing live. So we just got in a little rehearsal hall, invited various people each weekend, Friday nights. And he showed up. He's really good, enthusiastic, energetic young drummer, you know, and I thought, wow, he's really good. So apparently he tells me later, he said he was just so nervous he just didn't even notice. He doesn't even know he was there, like, you know, it's one of those. But I asked him back, he was really good. And I told him some of these older rock and roll songs because, you know, the thing is, you know, I was there like the end of the 50s, beginning of the 60s. Someone like him wasn't, you know, he's just a baby. So there are certain songs I said, well, you know, check out the shuffle on this, and because it's a different kind of drumming from now, you know, which is mainly it's kind of there. It's like a straighter thing. It's like the old thing. So he became very good at that. So I just said, well, look, you know, come and make the album with us. So he's on Flowers in the Dirt. He does most of the drumming on that. And that's it, I think. I think I mentioned them all. Hamish, Linda, Wicks, Robbie, Chris. And then there's me.
You joined the group.
Yeah. So I thought, you know, this looks good.
Yeah, that's good.
Thing.
Okay. Well, you mentioned Flowers in the Dirt, and I'm sure that in your tour, Flowers in the Dirt, the flowers will be planted. And then probably, I guess we're to assume that we're going to hear McCartney and from young lad right through the Beatles into Wings and up to date. Are you going to do all those things?
Yeah,
for
that's
us?
what we did when I was looking for what songs we should do on the tour. I just thought, well, what would I want to hear him sing, kind of thing, if I was at a show. And it's like, you know, if you imagine what would you want to hear Dylan sing. I'm a ham, you know, I'd want to hear him sing Tambourine Man, Blowing in the Wind, Don't Think Twice, you know, Subterranean Blues, like a Rolling Stone. I love all those, his hits, basically. Because, you know, I bought them and I learned them and I love them. So we've just selected songs from all my career, basically, you know, so it goes back, what's the earliest? Probably something like Things We Said Today. Goes back to that, Can't Buy Me Love. It comes up a bit more up to date with things like Sgt. Pepper, where the interesting thing about that is that I've never played that live, because we'd stopped touring by then. So there's some of this stuff I've never actually played on stage, so it's very exciting. Things like Hey Jude with that end, na na na. No, I've never done that. We never did it on stage.
I never thought of that. That's right.
So,
Your last
well, I never thought
live
of it.
was San Francisco in '66 or
That's right.
something
So
like
I never
that.
thought of that. I just thought,
The album
well, you
wasn't
know.
even out.
Yeah, but that's what's nice about it, because there's like a freshness for me about it. Just thinking, my God, I've never played this stuff before. So that's why I'm coming to it new. And then we look at the Wings period, and we kind of do Jet and Band on the Run and a couple of songs from that period, like Live and Let Die and stuff like that. And then we come up to date with the new album, Flowers in the Dirt, and do a few tracks off that, which are nice. And because these are the guys who made the album, it's got a kind of, it sounds like it, you know, sounds like the album. And then we go back even further than all of that to the old rock and roll stuff.
Yes,
You
I
know,
was
we go
gonna
back
ask,
like
yeah.
to Eddie Cochran.
Good.
I mean, we go back further than all of that to Gershwin. I mean, sometimes we throw in like Summertime. We do our own sort of slightly funky version.
Not
of
Summertime Blues, the
Not
Summertime.
Summertime Blues, even
the
before
Joplin
that.
did, right?
George Gershwin.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when you've got a hot summer like this has been really a hot one in England. I mean, it's the hottest for years. So you're sweating away. We've got fans blowing on us and everyone's sweating cobs. It's really good to go, well, it's summertime. And then have a big wailing guitar solo and stuff. And I'm playing guitar now, which is different for me. I never played guitar on stage, really. Except I think probably the very first gig I ever did with the Beatles, and it wasn't even called the Beatles then, when I was lead guitar player before I played bass. And it was so nerve-wracking, I blew it. And right after that I said, right, that's it, I'm rhythm guitar from now on, or bass. And years later I got on bass. So it's
Paul
quite exciting.
McCartney starts out in Norway, in Oslo. Is that
Norway?
the beginning of the
Sure.
tour?
Why not?
Okay, then you're going to go around Europe or something.
Yeah.
When are you going to come to America?
I think it's November and December. We come and we do like a first kind of wave tour where we just hit like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and Toronto, and do I think about 3 or 4 days in each. So that's quite a big tour, but it's not comprehensive. It doesn't hit all the cities. So what we're hoping to do, what we are going to do, is then return in February. At which point, then we won't just hit all the big cities. We'll then do cities which are still huge. I mean, by European or anywhere else standards, like Philadelphia is like definitely a big city, you know. Yeah. But so we'll do those kind of places in February. Should be fun, you know. Get a little bit more out and about in February. And I like the idea of coming here and then going home for Christmas and sort of coming back in February, you know. Feels nice, rather than just do it all in one big block.
Then when you return, you've got plenty of time, and you'll take the tour as far and as long as you want to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure of exactly all those dates, but it's quite comprehensive, that end of it.
I was thinking, along the way, do you plan on having any special guests join you as a...
Well, I don't know really. We've just left it open. I mean, there's obviously Elvis showed up today, Elvis Costello, not Elvis Presley, although I know he's around.
Yeah,
you know.
everybody else said so.
Elvis showed up here, and you know, I think if he shows up at a show, we definitely must learn up a couple of things, get him up, you know, because he's a ham, the boy, and he'll get up. On one of the songs on the Flowers in the Dirt song called "We Got Married," which Dave Gilmour plays on from the Floyd, and I like Dave's playing a lot, so he's the kind of guy who'd guest.